Hall of Fame columnist John McClain with us on 365 Sports. Paul Catalina and Craig Smoke. I'm David Smoke. John, thank you very much. John, anything from some of these early returns, NFL, whatever they're called, OTAs or whatever, that has caught your attention?
All the glowing reports about the young quarterbacks. Like when I go on my shows here after OTAs, today I couldn't make it to Waco for the Texas Sports Hall of Fame because it was the last day the players talked to the media from OTAs. So, and then when I go on my station here, I know they want to hear glowing things about C.J. Stroud. And the fact is, truthfully, I've never heard one player in all my years say anything during the season about OTAs. Like, man, I know I played really well this season, or I won this award, and I got started during OTAs. Or, man, if I'd have done better in OTAs, I'd have played better this season. Nobody thinks about the OTAs, which are organized team activities. And really, because you can't touch each other, it's about mental, and you're looking for a guy like C.J. Stroud and Davis Mills, who's in his third year, and then Case Keenum, who's in like his 50th, to not make mental mistakes. And if C.J. Stroud can take what he's been taught in the classroom by his coordinator, Bobby Slowick, who came from the 49ers, and Gerard Johnson, the quarterback coach, who came from Minnesota, if what they're teaching him in there, he makes the right decisions. It's not until training camp when they put on pads, and even though they don't hit and take each other to the ground, they still have people covering receivers, and they still have guys rushing the quarterback, even though they don't hit them, but they close in on them, and the whistle's blown. That's a much better barometer to gauge a young quarterback. I was listening to a guy today just go on and on about Anthony Richardson and the things that he's doing in Indianapolis, and I'm thinking, well, he should be. Nobody's rushing him. Nobody's covering him. They don't wear pads. They should look good unless they're making mental errors.
John, what do you think will be the end of the Dalvin Cook saga in Minnesota right now?
I understand salary cap, but if they really wanted to keep him, they could rework that contract and lower his cap figure, turn it all into a signing bonus. And he started every game last year. He's a really good receiver. And it looks like they're using analytics to make this decision instead of what they're seeing with their eyes. And everybody that I know thinks they won't be as good if they don't have Dalvin Cook. And before he goes to another team, he may have to redo the contract. And if they cut him like DeAndre Hopkins, he'll start over. But the difference is he was good last year. Hopkins was not. Hopkins has missed 15 games over the last 2 years and is looking, I think, for $10 million. And Cook, we don't know what he'll be looking for. But if they let him go and the guy that plays behind him gets hurt, their goose is cooked. And they're coming off a division title, and they're trying to win another one. And Kirk Cousins, I believe, is in the last year of his contract, so they'll probably want to re-sign him. But right now, it just doesn't make sense to me to make your team where if you make a move and your team won't be as good. It's one thing if you're Arizona and you're terrible and you're rebuilding, but the Vikings trying to win the division again.
John, is there any chance DeAndre Hopkins comes back to Houston?
None whatsoever. There's a bunch of reports. One report he met with them. No, they have no interest in him. He has no interest in them. He mentioned on a podcast 2 weeks ago 4 teams he'd like to go to, all Super Bowl contender with great quarterbacks. Then he hires an agent. As soon as he hires an agent, anonymous source stories are out there that he wants to come back to Houston and play with C.J. Stroud. And I'm thinking, man, he fell in love with Stroud and the Texans over the weekend. They must have been very impressive. No, he will not be back here.
John, do you have any thoughts at all? How much have you kept up with the PGA Tour, Live Golf, and today.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, this is like the NFL AFL merger, but I don't know. Is it bigger?
Well, nothing's bigger than football.
Yeah.
And golf is, the thing that didn't involve blood money. It didn't. They were invoking 9/11. Jay Monahan, guy that did all this for the PGA, he was calling the Live Golf Tour every name in the book, and now they're doing this deal, and a lot of players didn't know about it. They found out about it on Twitter, and he's gone to the Canadian Open to talk to him about it. And I'll tell you what gets me is the guys like Phil Mickelson and Dustin Johnson and Brooks Koepka that took 200 and 100 million and 100 million, and others turned it down out of loyalty and stayed together. The guys that took it, they look like geniuses now. Mm-hmm. And so I would hope that the Saudis, who are going to benefit to this, the only reason is they got money, that they will distribute some billions to the PGA to give to the players who are loyal and turn down that blood money. And because if you don't, there may be even more bitterness now that they're going to be playing together. And I hope they're not going to be playing team golf. And I hope they're not going to be playing at the courses that the Live played. Live was having trouble with sponsors, viewerships, everything, but they had the Saudi money. And I think it's shameful based on everything they said over the last year. And then all of a sudden, PGA's got a price. And I don't blame the players. I blame Jay Monahan. And they even have a guy from Saudi Arabia who's going to be the chairman over him, and he's going to be the CEO. And I'm hoping, because every tournament, every PGA tournament gives a huge chunk of the profits to charities. And I hope that if, say, the Phoenix Open was giving $10 million to charity, it would now be 20 or 30 million to charity, and the players make a whole lot more money too. But if the charities benefit, at least something good comes out of this besides lining people's pockets.
John, last thing, Jacob deGrom is out probably for at least a year and a half. Tommy John surgery. He had been placed on the 60-day. There were thoughts he could come back by the end of June, early July. Rangers keep winning. They've won without him. He gave him a shot in the arm, but are the Rangers at least on the Astros fans' radar? Or are they just a matter of they're just eventually going to, like the tortoise in the shell?
No, we talk about the Rangers all the time down here on our shows. The Rangers have scored at least 10 runs 16 times. The Astros just did it for the third time last night. It's amazing that the Astros, who let Justin Verlander leave, lost Luis Garcia, haven't had Lance McCullers all season. Garcia's gone for 2 years. By the way, DeGrom won't be back till 25 at the earliest. But that's about him coming back younger than Verlander was, and Verlander was even better. So I'd call Verlander and say, "What doctor did you use?
Yeah,
I want to use him too." And Jose Urquidy won't be back till after the All-Star break at the earliest. So their pitching staff has been decimated, and yet they're 3.5 games behind the Rangers because of their pitching. They get great pitching from their bullpen and 3 young guys nobody has ever heard of.
Thank you, John. We appreciate you
Thank
as
you,
always.
guys.
John McClain, 6'10" in Houston, Hall of Fame columnist with us on 365 Sports. You know me.